Once your fish is drawn, we're going to do the next stage, which is called repousse. And what that means is we're taking metal, which starts out flat, and we are pushing it and stretching it to make it so it's not flat anymore. So things will lightly stick out. That's why this will be a low relief sculpture. And that's what repousse is. We have your fish, we have metal, one side is silver, one side is gold colored. This is just a coating. That means it can come off. You also need a magazine that's got a few pages to it, because this provides a cushion which allows the metal to stretch. Drawing goes on the metal. If I want my front to be silver, I put it on the silver. Make sure your fish is on the metal and you don't have parts of it hanging off. 2 pieces of tape to attach. And then we need a pen. The color does not matter. It doesn't even have to work. The only point of the pen is to leave dents in your metal. So I traced a few lines. If I flip it over, you can see I have left dents. So when you trace, you have to push down hard. Another note, when you're tracing, do not make any sketch lines. If you sketch, you're going to have lines that show up on the back that you don't want, and we can't erase them. Now that I am done drawing, let's check out the back and see how it looks. And I'm trying to make sure that all the lines that I drew show up, that they're deep. And I want to make sure I didn't skip any either. So the next stage, we have to get this off the metal without bending and tearing it up. So sitting and picking at tape will tear it up. The best solution to get it off, we tear the paper off and then carefully peel it away. Now is where we start the repousse process. And we have some tools for this. You will all need 2 tools. So I have one that's known as the spatula tool and one that serves as our pen tool. You won't need this end, just a curved end. And on this tool, you only need the pen tip. And what we are doing is you look at the back side of your fish and you will make things pop out on the front. Now I mentioned last time that there's some details that we can just add directly to the metal. I want my fish to have scales, so I'm going to add that directly to the metal with this pen tool. And I'm not making them super tiny because I want to be able to make them pop out. So I drew them directly on my front side. Now, these need to come up. My fin needs to come up. I have a lot of things that need to come up, so I'm going to turn it over. Take the spatula tool, and notice how I'm holding it. I've got a firm grip on it, and my finger is holding this tip down. Magazine is underneath it. I'm going to take that and rub. Now, since this section's small, I may accidentally rub over some of my lines. I can always put them back in. So I'm rubbing the metal. By doing this, I'm stretching it. So if I turn it over, there's a bump there now. You can feel it. Yes, my lines got rubbed off, so I can draw them back in. And then repeat. So I go over to my scales, and I'm going to rub. I don't want to have to redraw all those, so I'm going to be very careful and stay inside the lines. It's like I'm coloring with my spatula. And notice the direction I'm holding it. I'm rubbing this way on the metal, not this direction. If I rub this way with the spatula, you're not using it properly, and it's going to leave big scratches and gouges in your work. So we're pushing this direction, the wide end. So I've done all the rubbing on my scales on the back. I rub my fin. I rub this fin down here so it sticks out a little more, and the eye. So there's some things that I want to go in. So if you have something small, you can use the pen tool to push that in. Just be really, really gentle with it, or it's going to leave scratches in your work. It is possible to make holes in your metal if you rub too hard, because you're stretching it. So if you use the wrong thing, you get a hole, and no, it cannot be repaired. So now my eye sticks out, this part goes in, or I can rub against this line up here. My body will look like it sticks out a little more. So if you want it to go in, you rub on the front. If you want it to stick out, you rub on the back. When you're done making things pop, then you get your scissors. Now, since this is metal, it's sharp, and when you're cutting, you really need to be careful. So you may have to approach things from a couple different directions in order to get the pieces out without causing harm to yourself. So I can hit things from a couple different directions so I can safely cut the pieces out. And do not try to crumple up your scraps. They're sharp. If you try to crumple them up, you can end up cutting yourself. Plus, if they are big scraps, they can be used in the future for other projects.